Hey everybody, welcome back to Cozy Conversations. My name is Sarah,
And my name is Terryn.
and we're so excited to just come together right now and do just a little bit of a recap on the past two episodes and really just our ministry and purpose series as a whole. But how are you doing, Taryn?
Yes, I am doing well, Sarah. The sun is out, which makes me happy. It's the
Yeah.
first day of spring. Happy spring.
Yes. Happy spring to everyone.
Yes. How are you doing? What's the weather like there today?
I'm good. The weather is it's okay. It could be a little bit warmer. It's really only like in the 50s, I think.
Gotcha, gotcha.
But it's all good.
Right, right.
But if we just want to encourage everyone to, if you haven't listened to our previous episodes in this series, go ahead and do that. Just encourage you to check those out, give those a listen, share with your friends and family. There were some good conversations that we had, so
Yes,
definitely want
yes.
to have everyone listen to that.
Yeah, you do not want to miss them. So definitely go back and listen if you haven't
Yeah.
already. But I'm super excited for today's episode. We just want to kind of keep with the cozy vibes,
Mhm.
talk about the books, movies we've been
Yeah.
enjoying, recap the season so far.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Karen, have you been reading any books?
I have been. So, I just started The Chase
Ooh.
by Diane Mills.
Is that Kate Middleton on the front?
No, she
And
does kind of
Elvis
look like Elvis.
Presley?
They kind of resemble
They
them
kind of
though.
look like them.
They kind of do. Um, but it's been really good so far. I'm like 10 chapters in, but it's about this reporter. Um, she used to work as a reporter. Now she writes best-selling romance novels. And
Oh.
she's like, there was this one case that was a cold case that always bothered me that I reported on. So I'm going to
Oh.
switch genres and I'm going to write about this case. So she actually, because of her time as a reporter, she was friends with the FBI.
Yeah.
And I think it's set in Houston. So she gets like paired up with this FBI agent to like get information on the case. And of course, her goal is to like reopen the case. And so that's about as far as I have gotten, but it's
That's
been
cool.
good. Yeah.
Did you say that's by Diane Mills?
Yes, yes.
Cool. Okay.
Uh-huh. So I've been reading that. I also started this little teeny book. People listening can't see it, but Sarah can see it. It's called The Practice of the Presence of God, and it's by
Oh,
Brother
cool.
Lawrence. So he lived a long time ago. Um, I think during like medieval times, but
Oh,
uh supposedly it's really good.
that was older than I thought.
Yeah, yeah. So
That's cool.
yeah, yeah, definitely. So
That's
what about
awesome.
you? What have you been reading?
I am still going through Jonathan Pokluda's book, Why Do I Do What I Don't Want to Do,
Yeah.
which has been really good and super encouraging. But I've also been reading Illusion by Frank Peretti.
I'm loving this book just because of the updates you're giving me.
It's really good. It's so those of you listening, I don't know if you're familiar with Frank Peretti, but he wrote This Present Darkness, and there's another one kind of in that same like series. I forgot what it's called, but essentially it has a lot to do with like the spiritual warfare, things like that. So this
Yeah.
book's a little bit different because it's more of kind of like a mystery. It even has a little bit of like time travel in it. So it has those aspects to it. But it's really good. It's about a magician or an illusionist who loses his wife in a car accident. And he's just kind of going through life again. And he meets this really interesting person who reminds him a lot of his wife, this
Mm.
lady. So just kind of I'm kind of far along, as Taryn can
Yeah.
see here.
Yeah.
It's a big book. It's like over
It is.
500
It's
pages.
yeah. Yes.
So, but it's been good so far. I really like the way Frank Peretti writes.
I love that. I want to read that book now.
Or I'll just spoil it for you in my little updates.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably what's gonna happen.
Um, how about like TV and movies? Have you been watching anything interesting so far?
Yeah, I've been still watching Castle, which has been good.
Nice.
Mystery, writer and detective
Yeah.
duo. Movies, not too many movies lately.
Yeah.
What about you, Taryn?
I For TV shows, we've been watching Super Nanny.
Oh,
I love that show.
never
It's
heard of it.
so good. She's like a childhood. I love her so much. She's like a child. It aired when we were like little, probably before we were born. So it's like a pretty old show. But she like goes in. She's from the UK and she's like a early childhood expert or something. And she goes in actually helps families who like have issues disciplining their children and stuff and
Oh,
like behavioral issues with their children and she like goes in and basically just like teaches the parents how to parent.
wait, it's like a it's like reality. It's like a true
Yes, yes.
it's a reality show. I
Yes,
have
it is.
seen clips of it on my Instagram.
I love it so much. I
That's
think
so
she's
funny.
really smart and
The kid was really bratty. I
yeah, they're
remember watching.
yes. So
That's
that's
cool.
been fun. We also watched we haven't watched as many movies. We did watch An American in Austin. I think that was
Uh-huh. The
a
Hallmark one.
Hallmark one from like February. That one was really good. It was
Oh,
like she
cool.
ended up in the middle of Pride and Prejudice. It was
Oh,
like a time travel. So she loves like the book. She ends up in the
yeah.
middle of the book and then she starts like messing things up
Oh
with like the
no.
story. And she's like, then through the process, she realizes she's kind of idolized her
Yeah.
like ideas of like a romantic man. And she realizes her fiance back home, she actually really loves him. And so it was like this
Oh,
really like wholesome, cute like movie.
that's cute.
So it was kind of not the normal like Hallmark movie, which was really kind of
That's
fun.
cool.
Yeah.
I feel like Pride and Prejudice is a very like spring movie.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
Yes. I feel like it
I
has a gloomy like rain, but it's like
yeah.
very lush like countryside. We actually watched the short version, the 2 hour with Keira
The
Knightley.
yeah.
Yeah, like
It's so good. It's such a good movie.
it is. Yes.
Yeah, so it was definitely fun to just catch up again, Taryn, and see like what books we're reading and things like that. But let's dive back into the last two episodes that we had on our Ministry and Purpose series with Lori and Jill. Did you have anything that stood out to you during those episodes?
Yeah, yeah. First, I loved both of them so much. It was so fun to meet Jill
Yeah.
over Zoom. But yeah, they had just so much wisdom and advice to share.
Hmm.
Lori, I loved how she talked about just like really like doing ministry through like brokenness and like she talked
Hmm.
about just how like suffering and like the difficult times that we go through like the Lord really uses them to like refine us. And she's like the
Yeah.
example of like gold and like silver and
Hmm.
diamonds and even oil and like just these things we think of as precious and how they have to be like refined and like dug up from the ground. And so I really enjoyed like just that her analogy with that and how she lives that out in her life and it was just that was really encouraging to me. And then Jill, I
Yeah.
really loved how she focused so much on like really everything we do every day should be done with a heart of
Hmm.
ministry. She was talking about like her job is a little bit more, I guess I could say like task administrative or like it's not like the most
Hmm.
exciting thing on the face of the planet. And so it's like,
Hmm.
but still doing, answering every email, every phone call, just with that heart of ministry, which I feel like really embodies the verse of like do everything is unto the Lord, as working for the Lord, not for men. And so I just really loved how that was such a passion of hers, and she really, I thought it was just cool to hear her talk about it and encouraging. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think too when we met with Lori, that was a great conversation too because she's had so much hurt throughout her life, like
Yeah.
physical hurt
Right.
and with just the things she's walked through with chronic illness and things like that. But she also just but also her message wasn't so focused on that. It was what the Lord has done through those
Yeah.
experiences. So it
Right.
just makes us think that like no matter what we've walked through or no matter what we're facing, we can still glorify God in everything that we do. And
Yeah.
because we're still alive, we're still breathing, we still
Right.
have a story to share.
Yes.
So I definitely was really encouraged by that too. And that like I think one thing she mentioned too was about like sharing your pain with people because
Yeah.
you never know what someone's going through
Right.
just by looking at them. You never know what they're walking through or how you could be encouraging to them, which is
Yeah.
also something um, that Jill kind of touched on as
Yes,
well.
she did.
Just kind of sharing with people, no matter where you go, who you see, sharing with them, and then being encouraging. to them. I think one thing too I've heard in the past is people say that like sometimes you will be the only Bible a
Yeah.
non-Christian would read,
Yeah.
if that makes
Yeah.
any sense. Like
Yeah.
just living out in, surrender to Jesus and how that portrays in your actions around other people.
Yeah.
So then that that's a testament right there,
Yes.
of glory to the Lord. So that's definitely super encouraging too. And I think with, you know, what no matter what season of life you're in with your job and things like that, you're definitely going to come up with some very mundane tasks
Yes.
in life. So it
Hmm.
was definitely interesting and very encouraging to talk with Jill about turning those mundane tasks into remembering that everything is going to glorify the Lord.
Yes.
So that was
Yes.
really encouraging.
Yeah. Yep. It was so encouraging and such great advice too. And
Hmm.
just reminders, because we get so caught
Yeah,
up in like everyday life sometimes that it's like,
right.
we lose sight of that sometimes. And it's just a reminder
Hmm.
that like, we need to live every single day for
Yeah.
his glory, and with the opportunities he gives us, whether they're just with a family or like with our family or if
Hmm.
friends or, through our jobs to interact with people. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's something too that Lori talked about is that ministry begins at home. And the home
Yes.
is, and she said, a quote from her from the episode is the home is a lifestyle of ministry for everything,
Hmm.
which also reminds me of our conversation with the Venturas back at the
Yes.
beginning of the series about
Yeah.
bringing Jesus home and how that kind of plays out in our lives now. So,
Yes, exactly. And I think Lori, we talked with her about like how nothing is too small for the Lord to
right.
use, because she was talking about like the limitations that, she has with like a chronic illness or it has in some seasons and like
Hmm.
just how still like nothing is too small for the Lord to use, and it's just so encouraging because on the days where we feel like we can't give as much, or maybe it's just a really stressful day, even at work, and it's just like we're pounded with stuff. But it's like realizing like if the Lord can use something, even just the small things, done for his glory can be very
Hmm.
powerful. So
I think too when we had Leslie on, we kind of talked more about like I get not necessarily unconventional seasons, but just seasons you didn't expect to walk through,
yeah,
and how that can also point us in the direction of where the Lord wants us to go if it's not where you thought it would be.
yeah,
So just giving everything to the Lord, no matter where you're at, no matter
yeah,
where you're living, and no matter what you're going through, because that can all point people back to Jesus.
absolutely. Yeah, for sure. He doesn't waste anything.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. They were super encouraging.
It was really good. I hope everyone here has listened to those episodes. If you haven't, go
Yes.
ahead and listen to them again from all four guests that we've had.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
4 so far. Uh-huh.
four. Yeah, it's been really good. And I hope it's been encouraging for you as our listeners, just getting to hear these conversations, which I think this is our heart behind the podcast too. It's
Yeah.
just having these cozy conversations
Yes.
with people, with each other, but also with others that have impacted our
Yes.
lives.
Absolutely.
Next episode, Taryn and I, it's just going to be Taryn and I again. We're going to do what we're going to call maybe ministry highlights, just
Yeah.
talking about different ministries that we've both served with in the past,
Yes.
and also just giving you some encouragement for how you can serve, no
Yeah.
matter if it's like through your church or looking for places locally to where you live,
Right,
things like
right.
that. So I'm excited about that episode, I think.
Yeah, me too. It's going to be a little different than we've been doing this season, which is
Yeah,
exciting.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. We'll get to share some like personal testimonies too of these ministries and how they've not only impacted us, but also how they've impacted people around us too.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
So stay tuned for that.
Yes. Well, I guess we're kind of winding down our cozy conversation
Yeah.
for today. It was so fun to get caught up on like books and movies since we're not doing that every episode this season. It
Yes.
was really fun.
It's kind of nice because I feel like when we're doing it every week, I have to like, oh, I need to be reading a different book.
Yeah, this takes kind of the pressure off.
Yeah. So that's definitely been nice.
Yeah.
Um, but our cozy cue for the episode for the week is, what temperature does it have to be for you to ditch the winter coat?
I love this question. It's so spring. It goes with the fact that today is the first day of spring. But
Yes.
for me, it would probably be around 40 degrees.
Uh,
At that point, I'm done with my winter jacket and I'll wear maybe a sweater or something, but
that's
like
probably true.
I do not like my winter coat on like any warmer than 40 degrees, probably.
I acted so surprised when you said that, but thinking about it, it's probably around the same for me.
Yeah,
I would think at this point. I think it's different too. Like when you're in college and you live, like Terryn and I lived in like
right.
one of the furthest dorms from main campus.
Yes.
And we would have to walk all the way to like the dining hall and like the academic
Yes.
buildings, things like that. Or we
It's a
would be
long
out
walk.
from like 7 in the morning until like 7 at night.
Right.
It's a long day, so you need like a few layers. But now that
Yeah.
like you're just going in and out and things like that,
Yeah, it's definitely different when you're
it's
just like going
different.
to work or, going to the grocery
Yeah.
store. Huge difference.
Yeah. hmm
Yeah,
So I
that makes sense.
definitely say like I barely remember putting on my coat this past winter.
Yeah, you guys had a mild winter. We had a
We did
mild
have
winter.
that one storm in January.
Yeah, yeah.
January.
Uh-huh.
That was the first time I ever drove through snow.
Right. Yes. You did
Yeah,
good,
thank
Sarah.
you. But yeah, so I would probably say around the same temperature.
Yeah,
But
definitely. I know. It's been really confusing here because it's been like warm and then like cold. Like we're supposed to have a snowstorm this weekend again,
oh,
which I'm really bummed about. So I've been like putting on like shorts and a t-shirt because it's been like, in the 50s or 60s. In like 60s, I like to be in like shorts. And so, but then it'll be like, I'll get up and it'll be sunny and I'll be like, oh, it's gonna be 60 degrees today. Put on my shorts again. And then it turns out to be like 40. And I go outside and I'm like, well, this isn't gonna work. So I'm really
yeah.
ready for the weather to level out and just be like nice. Like
We
choose
had
what season.
exactly a week ago it was like in the 70s
Yeah.
and now it's like in the 50s. So I had
Yeah.
my AC on
Right.
and then I woke up one morning like, okay, it's a little cold, but I'll just tough it out so I don't have to waste money on turning
Right.
my heater on.
Right.
I had to turn it back on. It was not happening.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just that time of year, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah. But
Yep.
I'm happy today's the first day of spring, so we are moving in
Yes,
the right
we
direction.
are.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
everyone interact. I'll post this question on our socials. Everyone interact because I can't wait to hear your responses to this one.
Well, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Cozy Conversations. We hope you have a great rest of your day and
Until next time.
stay cozy.